over to New York because we haven't been covering New York a lot lately, but I want to go over to New York really quickly. And the reason that I want to go over to New York is because Andrew Cuomo is an idiot. I'm just going to be very matter of fact when it comes to some of the things that we talk about. I think that Andrew Cuomo is an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. Now, for those of you that may not be familiar, Andrew Cuomo is a former governor of New York, and he is running for mayor of New York, but he was also destroyed in a primary, in a Democratic primary by Mamdani, right? So Zohran Mamdani is the Democratic challenger to the mayor of New York, who is now running against Eric Adams, who is an independent. But instead of Chris, or I'm sorry, not Chris, Chris is his brother, Andrew Cuomo, instead of him conceding and saying, you know what, I lost, I fought the good fight, I'm going to take my L. Democrats, which New York tends to vote blue for the most part, Democrats decided that they didn't want me in office and they didn't want anything else to do with me after my unceremonious dismissal, because he had got caught up in a lot of nonsense and all of that other type of stuff. But instead of me deciding that I'm just going to take my L and I'm going to bow out, he said, you know what? I am going to reinsert myself in the race, not as a Democrat, obviously, because he lost in the primary. He's going to insert himself as an independent. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it, y'all.
Andrew Cuomo shaking up the New York City mayoral race, announcing plans to run as an independent. The change comes after a double-digit loss to Democrat socialist Zohran Mamdani.
The fight to save our city isn't over, and I am in it to win it. My opponent, Mr. Mamdani, offers slick slogans, but no real solutions.
Here to discuss is American Values PAC spokeswoman Caitlin Sinclair. Caitlin, thanks for being here. While that may be true, what Cuomo just said, that Mamdani is sort of an empty vessel when it comes to slogans versus what he can ultimately do, Cuomo staying in this race from an electoral perspective basically hands the win to Mamdani. As someone who lives here, how worrisome is this latest development to you?
Extremely worrisome that this is all about ego, Todd. You know, the only thing more exhausting than people who walk slow on the streets of New York City is Andrew Cuomo's ego. He is like a political zombie, a man that won't go away. Nobody wants him. And this man is now trying to run New York City as if he did not already wreck New York State. Does he think New Yorkers at home just forgot who he was? The same man, Todd, that lied about the death tolls of 15,000 senior citizens that died on his watch, then continued to write a book and go on tour as his entire state was still on lockdown, and somehow still found the time to allegedly harass a woman in the workplace. So he is multitasker of the year. But guess what? New Yorkers have not forgotten. They have not forgotten who this is. And I think we can stop pretending that he is running for the good of the people, as he said.
A lot of people make the argument that Andrew Cuomo, and I've seen some people say it inside of the chat, a lot of people make the argument that he actually fumbled during COVID and that was his biggest mistake, right? Aside from that, I believe he had got a bunch of accusations and lawsuits from women, and that is on top of the lying about the amount of people and the amount of seniors that were affected and ultimately passed as it relates to COVID. You know, I seen a video the other day of a guy, and he said something interesting. He said, and I want to add this as a part of this narrative because I want to have this conversation. He said that, and I 100% agree with him. I was going to do a separate individual video reviewing what he was saying. It's been a really long and tough reviewing what he was saying, but I'm going to just put it on a screen right now and just make it a part of the show. Where is it at? 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 They removing? Man, I should have just saved the video. Hold on. Here we go. I found it.
Feel we need to acknowledge things have not been the same since COVID. Like when COVID hit, it's almost like the Avengers movie when Thanos snapped his finger and like 5 years went by. And I feel like it's the same. Millions of people passed away. The job market definitely hasn't been the same. Prices, the prices are the prices. It is what it is, unfortunately. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we pretend like it didn't happen. And we know it happened. But it's like, no, it's almost like everybody experienced the same thing. But it's like this drama, or this very, not drama, but more of this thing that happened to everybody. It was so dramatic where nobody really wants to talk about it. But like, we need to talk about it, man. Things have not been the same since COVID. Whether people want to say they are, like, to me, before COVID, things were great. I'm just going to be honest with you. Things were great. Life was great. People were great. After COVID, it feels like we came out of a twilight zone. Things are the same, man. And I feel like we need to talk about it more because we pretend like it didn't happen.
Why don't y'all think that people talk about COVID? Like, why is it not a thing? Like, honestly, I think that he's 100% true. And it wasn't until he actually said this and he started to talk about it and, he emphasized that this was a thing and this is something that people just kind of swept under the rug. We don't. We don't. We genuinely don't talk about it at all. It's not something that comes up. It's not something that we recognize. We don't acknowledge it. It's not a thing. It's not important to us. It's not something that we pay attention to or discuss. Any other thing in history, we talk about outbreaks. We talk about what happened during a certain pandemic. We talk about what happened in 2008. We talk about all of that stuff. We don't talk about what happened during the pandemic. We don't talk about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's people went through a lot of trauma. It was a lot of death. It was a lot of lockdowns. People's lives changed. It was a lot of fraud that was happening. Um it was a lot of breakups. It was a lot of breakups. There were also a lot of kids that were molested. There were a lot of children that were molested that we don't like to talk about. What do you mean, Anton? I mean that one of the reasons why, and nobody, this just kind of got hidden, it got swept under the rug. People act like it wasn't a thing. One of the things was that children were stuck in the homes with people that they should not have been stuck in homes with. And one of the biggest concerns from educators and lawmakers that had got mentioned but had got swept under the rug was the amount of people that were being taken advantage of, the amount of children that was being taken advantage of, and the only outlet that they had, that the possibility of being able to save themselves, was being able to get to school or any of that type of stuff. And that's something that we just don't acknowledge. It was a lot of breakups. It was a lot of breakups. People couldn't live with each other and they hated each other. And the only thing that kept their relationship together was the fact that they had distance from each other and they had an opportunity to appreciate the fact that each one of them was gone and they got the best of each other when they was together, and then they went off to work and they got themselves together. There was a lot of people A lot of people couldn't stand each other. A lot of abuse. There was a lot of money that was flowing. I remember it wasn't all bad because there was a lot of content creators that broke out during the pandemic, myself included. Myself included. It was a lot of partnerships. There was a lot of people that broke out. Now, whether or not people were able to sustain the momentum and capitalize off of the visibility, that was a different conversation. But COVID changed everything. And it's almost as like it is intentionally swept under the rug, and that is not something that we like to talk about. And COVID also ruined Andrew Cuomo. It absolutely ruined him. It 100% ruined him. I had to get out. I had to break out. I went to Florida, and I went and lived in Florida. I'm thankful that I had the money and the resources. Even back then, I'm thankful that I had the money and the resources to be able to break out and get the heck out of here and be able to experience life living somewhere else. I was able to take my daughter and my family out of town with me, and so we went and we lived in the Miami Design District, and it was a phenomenal experience. We was in 80-degree weather. We celebrated Christmas in 80-degree weather. It was different. It was different. Nurses, travel nurses, they made a lot of money. I had a lot of travel nurses that was hitting me up, getting coaching calls. Anton, what should I do? Should I go and buy a house with all of this money that I made? Should I invest it? Some people tripled their money because I forced them to put it inside of the stock market. It was a lot of nurses. They made a bag. There was a lot of people that was supposed to graduate at that time that they couldn't actually experience their graduation, virtual graduations. Remember that? Remember that? It was a lot. It was a lot going on. It was a lot of people that passed away. A lot of people that passed away. I will say, fortunately, thankfully, I don't personally know one person that passed away in my family. I don't know one person that passed away in my family. Not one person, not my grandmother, not my 80, at the time she was in her upper 80s, grandmother, now she's 90 plus. My grandmother got it, and she was like, I remember she said, I am not going to that hospital. And he was like, oh man, so they can put them on respirators and stuff. She was like, you out of your mind. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to that hospital. My brother, they was trying to put him on that put him in them units with them respirators and junk like that. My brother, they was like, my youngest brother, they was like, yo, we don't know if he gonna make it. And everybody in the family was panicking and stuff like that. And I talked to him, I called him on the phone, and I'm like, yo, what's going on with you? Oh, they saying this, they saying that. I said, man, you'll be all right. Man up, little Nick. That's what I said to him. I said, man up, little nigga. So this is all in your head. It's all mental. He's like, you right. He was like, I got this. He here with us today. He chilling. He's slow motion, living a good life, got a great family, 2 kids, boy and a girl. They both in college, or one of them about to go to college next year. I didn't lose one person, and I'm very, very thankful. I am very, very thankful. Very, very thankful. So it is. It was an interesting time that we tried to sweep under the rug, and we try to act like it wasn't a real thing. I had went through so much before the pandemic personally, with my father dying and people on Rita's side dying and suffering through all of that, that the pandemic for me was a breeze. It was a breeze. And I wound up getting another position to where I was able to capitalize off of it as far as corporate America and making a bunch of money. I got out of the restaurant business right before the pandemic hit, and that was a blessing. And it was crazy. It's crazy. And so we talk about 9/11. We talk about all of these things, but we act like because you've seen a ghost. If you mention anything about COVID or the pandemic or what happened or what was going on in 2020, shh, don't say that. Don't say that.
This has nothing to do with service.
AD, did you have COVID? Yep, I got it. I sure did. When my brother was in the hospital, I wound up taking in his family. And so he was in the hospital. I took in his family. So I was taking care of my nephew and my niece and my daughter and all of them. And so I took in his family and I was taking care of them. And I had got the vid. And so I don't remember what my symptoms were. I know some people, I know Rita couldn't taste for a minute. I had no problem tasting. I had no problem with none of that. I just think that I just had like cold sweats or something like that, but I got it. And once I got it, I never got it again. That was it. Once I got it, I never got it again. And that was just it. And I was just cool. So, but me, I wasn't running from it. I remember I was like, if I remember correctly, I was out in the streets right before the pandemic. And I'm like, yo, they saying everybody got it or everybody gonna get it. Cause I remember before they even announced it, my nephew had it. And he was like, I went to the hospital. They said it's not the flu, it's not this, it's not that. He was like, but man, I can't shake this. He was like, I can't taste nothing. He was like, I can't smell nothing. And we was like, man, what is wrong with him? What is going on with you? And he was like, man, I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know what's wrong with me because I went and visited him. And I said, man, what do he got? He said, and Rita was like, yo, they said that they can't figure out what he got, but he got something, and it seemed like it's worse than the flu. And that was in 2019. That was like September, October 2019. Man, that junk was out way before they ever announced it. That junk was out way before they ever announced it. My nephew had that junk. And I was like, dog, you good? He was like, man, I can't get warm. He was like, my temperature is off. He had that junk way before they announced it. And so, man, let me see something really quickly. We acting like that junk didn't exist. Yep. And this the video, the thing that they trying to this the video that they always take the picture from and say, man, why was he sitting up under there like that? Well, it was for the cover photo, right? Let me see if I can pull it up. I remember exactly what my sentiment was. This is why I document everything, because I can always go back to it and say, yep. And so people use this cover photo a lot of times and say, man, look at him. He looks stupid. Well, it's because I was illustrating that people were out running around and buying everything. And so they was acting scared. And so I took a cover photo in order to illustrate something like, oh man, everybody is scared and they stealing everything out of the grocery stores. But people take this cover and they be like, look at how stupid, look, he crazy. They don't know nothing about content creator. That's why they broke. I see the criminals are still out here doing their thing, right? Police is out here in force. Oh my God, they got like 3 cars out here. What's going on? Is Anton from Anton. Oh no, we not doing this again. How people feel about this virus. I want to stop by the grocery store and see, like, just because. Not liberal, Anton. As usual, especially for a weekday night, I don't think nobody's scared. Ain't nobody worried about this right now. What's going on, fam? Yeah, I actually wasn't liberal at this point. I just hadn't got my teeth done yet. But yeah, I shot all of that. I had a drone, so I used a drone. This was back when I was actually shooting all of my B-roll footage, and I had a drone and all of that other stuff, and so that's how I was popping off.
Nobody's scared. Ain't nobody worried about this right now. What's going on, fam?
YouTuber in the building, baby.
What do y'all think about this whole virus? Like, y'all think it's shutting everything down, it's messing up y'all money?
To be honest with you, though, it's not scaring me that much.
It don't scare me either, though.
You don't think of the swine flu virus and all that. Like, at the end of the day, the way I am, dude, I've been through so much in my life. If a funky ass virus takes me out, you know what I mean? I'm like, really? I'm not worried. You know, all these people are going out fucking buying something.
I was at the grocery store. I don't know why they buying water, bro.
What do you mean you don't know why? You know how people...
They ain't got faucets?
Hold on, first of all, look at her booty over there.
It makes no sense, bro.
Listen, my mom told me in 2000, everybody was going out, buying out everything because they thought the world was going to end, right? I told my mom, I was like, oh, I didn't tell her.
So anyways, I was out in the streets. I wasn't afraid of COVID whatsoever. I was out and about. I was running around, and I said that if I'm going to get it, I'm going to just get it. And this was prior to them actually shutting down everything. They shut down businesses. They told people they couldn't open up their barbershops. They did none of that stuff. Somebody says, Anton, you got that gap closed up. No, nigga, I got veneers. You see that? I went and got my teeth done. You know what I'm saying? I went and got my teeth done. Anyways, let's get back to Andrew Cuomo.
The people. I believe that Andrew Cuomo is only running because he cannot stand that his legacy has gone down to a headline and a scandal. This has nothing to do with redemption because, as you just alluded to, if it was, he wouldn't do this. He wouldn't do this.
I look at my channel, and I won't remove any of the videos. I look at my channel as a time capsule. If I want to know what was going on in 2017, if I want to know what my thoughts were in 2018, if I want to know what my thoughts were in 2019, if I want to see what the sentiment was in 2020, how I evolved in 2021, 22, 23, 24, whatever. If I want to know what was going on in 2016, all I got to do is go back into my catalog, and it jogs certain parts of my memory, and then that's what it is that I put out there. And so now I'm back vlogging again. Actually, I'm dropping a vlog on Darth Anton today. And it kind of gives me it reminds me of what it was that I was thinking or how I predicted certain things was going to happen. And so I kind of look at my channel as just like a time capsule of what happened in my life.
Party to the people, because this splits the votes. This does not help us. This is about ego. And because of Andrew Cuomo's ego, I think New Yorkers will be pretty upset if we hand this election to a communist.
Yeah, I think of those three individuals, Curtis Sliwa, Andrew Cuomo, and Eric Adams, you really can only have one. You can't have two. You definitely can't have three. You need one going up against Mamdani. Otherwise, you're going to get nuggets like this for the next 4 years. Let's take a listen to how he is blaming Trump for declining tourism in New York City. Watch.
We know that his policies, they are not just disappearing our neighbors, detaining our friends. They are also turning the world away from our city.
Somebody said you will regret veneers when you get old. Let me tell you something, Carmen. My grandmother got veneers in the late 80s. I asked her before I went and got mine, and her teeth is beautiful. Her teeth is phenomenal. I asked her, hey, do you regret ever getting? She said, Anton, it was the best decision that I ever made in my entire life. My grandmother got her teeth done in the 80s. And yes, they did have veneers in the 80s. And she said, listen, as long as you take care of them and you go to the dentist and you get your stuff. No, that's because y'all think that y'all can go and get y'all teeth done. And then that's just supposed to fix all of your problems. No, you're still supposed to go to the dentist. No, you're still supposed to brush your teeth. No, you're still supposed to floss. No, you're supposed to do everything that you're supposed to do. So no, you won't regret them. I went and talked to people that actually got their teeth done a long time ago, and they saying that they absolutely, positively, 100% don't regret it. So I don't know what rumors that y'all listening to. Y'all need to go and consult your healthcare professionals before you just make wild statements. No, one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my entire life is getting my teeth done, 100%.
Rapid decline of tourists coming to this city.
This ain't that cheap stuff. This ain't the little plastic junk that y'all put on y'all mouth. This ain't that. This is different, all right?
Is an issue not simply for us living up to our word as a city that welcomes the world, but it's one that has very real economic impacts.
Of course, Caitlin, it has nothing to do with homeless all over the city or the fact that crime in the subway is still bad.
This is a classic sign of Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, everything seems to still be Donald Trump's fault somehow, Todd. Guess what? New Yorkers aren't falling for it. They see the bad policies. They're witnessing it every day, and they're going to make the right decision.
Also, there was some big news coming out of the White House. Another major win for Maha in the books as dozens of big-name ice cream companies, they're going to...
All right, that's it. That's all we want to cover with that. But the fact of the matter is that, yes, Andrew Cuomo is throwing his muddied name inside of the ring for whatever reason. Obviously, he's not going to win. For whatever reason, I think that it's ego that is preventing him from being or having a realistic view of what people expect of him. And sometimes you just ruin your reputation and you just can't come back from the public perception of, public perception of what happened during your reign. And I don't even know why they continue to run it up. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Somebody said, why don't you get braces? Why didn't you get braces? I did get braces. I didn't wear a retainer. And so my teeth had a gap in the middle of it. And I had after I had got my braces, I wound up getting like my wisdom tooth was growing in crooked, but then it got lodged against another tooth. And so it was just like, yo, I'm getting all of this work done. And so I got every single thing done inside of my mouth. Now, here's one of the keys that you want to do when you get in your veneers, right? The first thing is do not get that composite crap, all right? Don't get them little composite crap. When you get composite teeth, because they're going to give you an option, and it's your option. They're going to give you an option. It's going to look decent in the beginning, and I think they only last like a couple years or a few years. It's a semi-permanent temporary look that you get to your teeth. That's the first thing, is do not get that composite junk. That is a short term. It's a cheap option. And it gives people a temporary fix for whatever it is that they think that they want to do. That's number one. Number two, go and get all of your dental work done the right way. You got to get your cavities done. You got to get if you need to get root canals, get that taken care of. If you need to get teeth pulls, whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you need to get an implant, surgical stuff, whatever it is, get everything done right. All of it. If you need to get your wisdom teeth out, whatever you need to do it the right way, even if it's painful. One of the most painful things and the most painful thing that I ever had in my entire life was a toothache. Get it done the right way. And then when you get your veneers, get porcelain, not the composite. Get your porcelain veneers and then make sure that you go to a reputable place. I went to somewhere inside of the United States of America. I went to a very good surgeon, popular surgeon inside of the United States of America. You guys like to run overseas and do all of this other stuff. I don't trust that. I don't trust that because, I can go back and I can say, hey, listen, whatever, so on and so forth. And so, get it done the right way. And then take care of your teeth. You can't outrun bad habits. You have to brush them regularly, at least twice a day. You have to floss. If you get a water flosser, that's even better. I have a water flosser. Get you a tongue scraper. Make sure that you do the Listerine, all of that stuff. So you still have to do what you're supposed to do, right? It's kind of like people that get surgery to lose weight, right? You can go and get the lipo, but you're going to put it right back on if you don't develop the right habits. And so, veneers are for people that are still taking care of their teeth and have great habits. But very few people actually want to do that. They still want to do what they want to do and think that they can get away with it. No, you still got to do the right thing. So, yes, man. Take care of your business and get on top of it. All right?